What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, y'all? What's going on? What's going on, y'all? Welcome to the Yasmin Breakdown. Welcome to the Yasmin Breakdown. I hope everybody is in the building. I hope you can see me. I hope you can hear me. It seems that the seconds are moving up on the bottom, so I'm going to assume that everything is legit. So, what's up, everybody? It's your girl, Yasmin Shiraz, and I am in the building today. And we are talking about today's topic is the Gucci Mane Pooh Shiesty situation. I am a long time hip hop journalist and lover of hip hop music. So, although I am older than them, I still have to weigh in because it's a heartbreaking situation. So, you guys, let's do a little bit of background about what the deal is. Okay, so if anybody, wait a minute, I forgot my dang on microphone, you guys. Sorry about that. What's up, y'all? It's your girl Yasmin Shiraz. I hope you can hear me now. I can see the green coming in over on my situation. Sorry about that, y'all. I just got a new mic set up, and so I didn't have my mic in front of my mouth. I apologize for that. But as I said, you guys, I'm a long time, hip hop person for life, and this situation with Gucci Mane and Pooh Shiesty just needs to be dialogued about. We need to talk about it. And so, if you've been living under a rock, you don't, maybe this is why you don't know what's going on, but I'm going to educate you today, and I'm going to make sure you know what's up. That is my crickets. So I'm just making sure I know where my little dials are. So, all right, y'all. So, last week or so, the DOJ, the Department of Justice, had a press conference, and they basically stated that they arrested Pooh Shiesty due to he's in federal custody as an investigation into the kidnapping and gunpoint robbery of Gucci Mane. That is basically what happened, or what have you. He was in a federal courtroom or what have you when videos came out. And this guy here in the bottom of my screen, I did a video at the top by his own artist, and I used this guy's video. He's an excellent storyteller. I don't know him from Adam. He did an excellent story explaining sort of everything that happened. And so I did a video. I clipped his video inside of my video, and everything. And basically, what happened was that Pooh Shiesty essentially wanted to get out of the contract that he has with 1017. If you do not know, Gucci Mane is the CEO of his own rap label called 1017. He has a very nice 1017 chain. It is very nice. It's very, very nice. And that's his record label. He had a bunch of artists on his record label. And then I want to say, I don't know what year it was, but like he got rid of like all of his artists except for two. And that was Pooh Shiesty and another artist that he got rid of. And I explained all of this in my video by his own artist. And so he kept Pooh Shiesty and everything. And apparently at some point, allegedly, Pooh Shiesty wanted to get out of the contract with Gucci Mane. And, this happens so often in the hip hop business, is that people want to get signed, and then when something goes left or they realize they're not making as much money as they think they should, they want to get out of the contract. But the point that I want to make today is that if you want to get out of the contract, people buy back their masters, they give money to the record label or what have you. I don't like this idea that if you want to get out of your recording deal, then you got to strong arm somebody. I don't like that. You know what I'm saying? And I know I'm one person shouting into the wind or whatever, but I'm going to shout into the wind because I do not like it how, if you don't want to do something with the record label, like you had no problem signing the document so that the contract helped you get a deal. But now when you want to get out of the deal, you strong arming somebody, right? Like I don't like that. You know what I mean? And so anyway, let me just give you guys a little bit of update of what happened allegedly. So everything I'm just going to say allegedly. I wasn't there. I'm, looking at different reports of what happened. So basically, in Pooh Shiesty was in fact signed to 1017 Records in 2020, okay? And that's what happened. Now, there are 9 defendants in this case, but basically in January 10th, this is what the complaint is saying from the DOJ, that Pooh Shiesty calls up Gucci Mane and wants to meet with him, right? Whatever. Wants to meet with him, wants to meet in person. They meet in person, again, allegedly, and Pooh Shiesty expresses that he wants to get out of the recording contract, right? And Gucci Mane allegedly is sort of like, well, no, I'm good with how it is, it's cool. I would like to keep you as an artist, basically, right? Now, he signed in 2020, Pooh Shiesty did, and in January of 2026, this happened. So it's 6 years is not even a long time to be under a recording contract. You have people who are under contracts way longer than that, right? So I don't even know from a time standpoint, like I don't know Pooh Shiesty. I don't know why he particularly wanted to be out of the deal. I don't know if he felt he was in a bad deal. I don't know if he felt like he wasn't getting paid enough money. Like I have no idea. But bottom line is that apparently the federal complaint says that on January 10th, he goes to the studio in Dallas where Gucci Mane is. And he goes to talk to him and says, hey, well, I want to be let out of the contract. Gucci's basically like, nah, I'm good with you or whatever. And it ends up, some people came in who were with Pooh Shiesty, gives him a bag, allegedly has a gun in it. His father comes in, Pooh Shiesty's father allegedly comes in and gives Gucci a contract that releases Pooh Shiesty from the contract. And they say basically they force him to sign this contract at gunpoint. Okay, this is all alleged, you guys. This is all alleged. Okay. And so, this is the point for me, again, as a Black woman, as a mom, as somebody who cares about our community, right? You have so many rappers out here right now who will be dying to be signed to Gucci Mane, like dying to be signed to him. You get this guy, Pooh Shiesty, right? He has a whole mask named after him, right? As Papoose. And he wants to get out of his contract. But there's a legal way, and quite frankly, because I'm trying to get out of a contract right now that I have with Simon & Schuster, you got to pay the money to get out the contract, right? Like I can't go up to the offices, right, and strong arm people, right? Like they would arrest me, right? Like, and even though I'm a woman, like I still know that I can't do that, okay? And so, long story short, allegedly all of this stuff happens. And after they get him to sign his record to release him, right? And we all know, I mean, anybody who's seen Law and Order over the last, I don't know, 20 years, I don't know how long it's been on, but if you force somebody to sign a contract at gunpoint, it's not going to be valid. I don't know why anyone wouldn't know that or whatever. So, So that's something that has sort of stumped me, in that there was a legal way to do this and there was an illegal way. And there's plenty of illegal ways to do things, but there was a legal way to do this. And this was not even attempted. Okay. And it's troubling that, like, we're making so much money, we're making money in the industry, there's all these different revenue streams for us, and yet we can't figure out how to legally get out of a recording contract without bringing an AK type pistol to the party. Like, it doesn't make sense, right? It's in my mind, right? And I'm not trying to be judge and jury here. I'm just saying, like, guys, there is a legal way to do this. And the fact that, like, that wasn't really attempted on any real level, or so it appears, it's like, where are we right now in hip hop? Where are we in culture? And this has become this public divide where people are taking sides. And I'm like, why are we taking sides on this? Like, there's clearly a right and a wrong or whatever to this situation, period. You know what I'm saying? And people act like they don't understand the situation because people want to have these codes of the streets or whatever. And it's like, when you wanted him to sign you so that you could make money, so that you could get popularity, so you could have a certain association, right? You were trying to get something, and now that you got that, and now that you feel whatever way that you feel, it's okay, you know what I mean, to do this. Like, I don't think so. Like, that's kind of crazy. And, no, and not enough people are weighing in because they don't want to be soft. I don't mind if somebody says that I'm soft. I am soft in all the right places. But I'm just saying that I have a problem with this on so many levels. Okay. And okay, so after that, so they have the out to force Gucci Mane to sign the contract to release old boy, right? Pooh Shiesty. Okay, cool. Everybody, we understand that. But then, to add insult to injury, they allegedly rob Gucci Mane. Okay. They take his jewelry. I don't know if they took that 1017 chain or not. Like I said, that's a nice chain. I'm telling you, Gucci Mane, I love him and I love his wife. So I'm biased or whatever because I like Gucci Mane. I got a Gucci Mane shirt. Y'all probably seen me. I rocked it, I'm sure, doing a video. But they robbed him. And again, this is my whole thing with the record label situation, right? And everybody who is on some rah-rah right now, right? Like, okay, if you once you sign with the record label, they're your employer to a certain extent, right? So how many of y'all don't like how you're getting paid? Y'all gonna go up to the CEO and pull, a gat on him. Like, that's where we living at right now. I bet you none of y'all, I bet you half of y'all in this audience, I bet you 95% of y'all in this audience ain't doing that. You feel where I'm coming from? So, like, this idea that we're sitting there going, people are sitting out there, because I'm not doing that. People are sitting out here literally contemplating that this was a legitimate thing to do is freaking insane. It's freaking insane. Okay, there was nothing legitimate about this. Now, the other part of it, and I produce, you guys know I'm a writer and TV writer and producer, and I produce this podcast, and we talk about tech in this podcast that I produce. And the thing that kills me too about this is that every studio that you go to now, like, and I would say probably over the last 10 years, they all have installed surveillance in their offices. I can't name a studio today that doesn't have cameras, right? In and around. Why? Because if a studio has expensive equipment in there, what's the first thing that you want to protect if somebody's going to come in there and rob you? And so for any person who's going to do dirt in a studio, you know what I mean? There are cameras all around, right? And so I'm going to get to the snitching thing, right? Because the title of this particular live is like, is robbery, is snitching worse than robbery? And it's like, in today's society, surveillance is snitching on you every day. You at the stoplight, you're under surveillance. So you do something, the stoplight is going to snitch on you. You in the grocery store, you think those little circles at the top of the on the ceiling, you think that's not recording you? It's recording you. Everywhere you go into the bank, it's recording you. Where can you go right now where you're not being recorded? I don't know that there's a place, right? So this brings me to this situation. So long story short, a lot of it was on video, a lot allegedly. The DOJ, the FBI, whoever, they have all the information or whatever. Everything happened. I don't know how much Gucci had to corroborate, explain, or whatever. I have no idea. He did have like 2 security people with him at the studio, as I understand, or what have you. But the people's cars, their license plates, as I understand in the reports, allegedly, all of it is on film. All of it is under surveillance. Okay. All of it. Right. And so, I released the video because, again, I am a fan of hip hop, right? And I want hip hop to continue to grow and grow and grow. And I released my video on it, and nobody's really watching it. I'm sort of crushed by that. But I'm like, I don't care. Right is right. Like, somebody going to start watching that video. I don't care. And so then I saw that Gucci has done a diss track. Let me just pull that up for y'all right here real fast. But he did a diss track, and he calls him out, and it's called Crash Dummy. I mean, again, this is what it is. I'm not a fan. I haven't even heard the track. I just knew that he did it. So I heard that, he has this track, and it's, because this is what he says. Tell the truth. You went out like a real crash dummy. And after all that, boy, you still signed to me. I'm sure that's how he says it. Right. So it's and that part, that line is absolutely true. If people have you on video, forcing somebody, or they've told you, hey, I signed it because someone had, click to my head, it's null and void. You're still under the contract, right? So I don't know about calling him a crash dummy or whatever, but those were Gucci words, not mine. And so, apparently Pooh, Shiesty, and Big 30, they're facing like life in prison. They're facing life in prison for this whole, altercation, when you could have possibly, I don't know, Gucci, correct me if I'm wrong, bought your way out of the contract. It is not unheard of for artists to buy themselves out of a contract. It is not unheard of, right? It's not unheard of. And so, so that's just, a sort of a sad thing. But so the latest update, Gucci releases this track, Crash Dummy. But then this guy, if you guys look right at the bottom of the screen here on the left side, Raylo, I don't know if that's Rollo, I don't know, but he apologizes to Pooh, Shiesty for denying Gucci Mane's snitching claims. And I'm sitting up here, and that's what motivated me, because Lord knows I'm supposed to be doing something else with one of my other businesses today, but I had to come on here and talk about this because this is really what heated me up. Snitching claims. What are we talking about here? Anything that you do today that's under surveillance, you don't have to call the police and report anything. It's already recorded. So how is it that how is it that we look at things as like, oh, you told, or oh, you whatever? Guess what? The cameras are telling everything now. There is nowhere that you can go. There's no place that you can go today where you are not under surveillance. Where can you go? Name one place that you can go where you're not under surveillance. A place doesn't exist. You can't go to the mall. You can't go to the post office. You can't. There's probably cameras in fast food restaurants. The drive-through is under surveillance, but I'm talking about inside the restaurant. Okay, so people are talking about, okay, like, well, Gucci Mane told, or Gucci Mane snitched, or whatever like that. And here's the thing. Here's the thing that I really want to get on and make sure that, like, we make this point today. How is it that snitching is the bigger crime than the robbery? Then this guy Gucci Mane is a freaking rap legend who didn't have to sign Pooh Shiesty. And let's be clear, when Gucci Mane released all of the artists that he released in whatever year he released them, because he released a bunch of his artists, right? And he kept two. He didn't even have to keep those two. He didn't, right? So he keeps that, and his reward for keeping the two people that he kept is to be robbed and to be held at gunpoint to release somebody from a contract. Y'all are tripping. Like, y'all are tripping because there are legal ways to get out of a recording contract. Okay? So let's talk about it. I got to see. I'm inside my OBS, but I don't know how to get my questions. I have to go on YouTube on my other thing. But let's definitely talk about this and street code versus real accountability, right? Gucci Mane is the CEO of a company, right? He's no different from the CEO of Microsoft, right? Bill Gates. It's a business, right? And y'all, everybody wants that money. Everybody wants that billionaire money, right? But then when it comes time to try to strong arm somebody, y'all want to take it back to the street. Like, who y'all want to be? If you want to keep it street, you don't have to sign a record deal. If you don't want to be a business or whatever, like Jay-Z said, I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman. Like, if you don't want to keep it business, don't sign the record deal. It's real simple. You know what I'm saying? Like, at some point, we have to learn how to level up. And leveling up is taking it as a business. Okay? Seeing things as a business. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it is. And when you go and you take it back to the street, like, you taking an L. And for what? Why are you taking an L? Because you didn't want to be in the contract no more? When you could have probably bought your way out of the contract? Or did so many albums or whatever? Y'all know what it is. So it's like, on the one side, we want to act like we want to level up. But then on the other side, we want to keep those ties to the street. You know what I mean? And it's like, every time when you keep them ties, right? You catch an L. You catch an L every time. And so people always try to act like snitching is the worst crime. But to me, like, as a business owner myself, for me as a business owner myself, oh my gosh, sorry about that, guys. For me as a business owner myself, or what have you, I know that I don't have to do business with certain people. Certain people don't have to do business with me. And it's so easy for some people, I should say, because I'm not doing it that way, but it's so easy for some people to disregard the danger that Gucci Mane was put in for no reason when he gave Pooh Shiesty an opportunity. Like, where are all the record labels owners or whomever who was giving Pooh Shiesty a opportunity before Gucci Mane gave him an opportunity? Y'all like to disregard all of that. All of that. And it's insane, right? Because at the end of the day, you got 101 rappers wishing they had an opportunity. 101. Right? And you give Gucci Mane gives you an opportunity, and his reward is when you don't like something, or now, so many years have passed, it's a problem for you. And y'all want to talk about snitching? Come on, y'all. So robbery is cool. Having a, piece pulled on you so that you can sign paper, that's cool. All of that's cool. But snitching, if he did in fact tell whoever, that's the problem? Really? So if you're in a business and you own a business and your employee don't like you, you're cool with your employee coming up and pulling something on you then. Make it make sense. You can't have it both ways. I don't care what nobody say. It's not, I don't care what nobody say. It's not, it's crazy. And Pooh Shiesty, he's taking an L. He's taking an L. You know what I'm saying? Because, hopefully, we're able to resolve this and there's nothing, more negative that comes down from it. But you know what I'm saying? It's hard to do business with people that are going to try to hurt you because it's a disagreement or whatever. There's always disagreements in business. There's always, listen, I don't want to bore y'all, but if y'all paying attention to the AI people, like the Anthropic and the Claude people, the Anthropic and who is it, Open AI, honestly, if they were street people, they would be fighting by now. Because I'm telling you, they're going at it. But again, there's a legal way to be brawling and there's an illegal way. And how are we going to move forward if we can't make it legal? It doesn't make sense. I don't know. The street code versus real accountability. I grew up in the suburbs. So, y'all probably oh, that's why you don't understand. But you know what? All I know is business. And you can't grow your business if you're engaging in actions that are going to put you in the penitentiary. Now, y'all can clown me or whatever because I grew up in the suburbs. That's fine. But you can't grow if you in the penitentiary like that. So, you know what I mean? Because basically, you just lost your freedom. You know what I mean? And it's just we continue to have, we want to talk about Jay-Z being a billionaire and Dr. Dre being a billionaire. We want to talk about, our hip hop people becoming a billionaire, but them ones who are making that kind of money, guess what they not doing? They not in the studio with somebody pulling nothing on them. You know what I'm saying? So y'all, y'all are real, you know what I mean? Y'all are real, sometimey with the facts of how things are going down. Everybody wants to have money. Everybody wants to floss. Everybody wants to flex. But how much flexing are you doing if you low key being a criminal? You know what I mean? And again, I know y'all probably hating on me, but I don't care because what I'm saying right now is going to save somebody's kid. I don't care. Again, I just feel like we get mad at the wrong thing. Rollo apologizing to Pooh Shiesty. If anything, he should be calling Gucci Mane yo, man, I hate that you went through that. You know what I'm saying? Again, I don't know, dude. I don't know none of these dudes, okay? But I know that one of Gucci's songs, the little LOL smiley face, that was him on there, right? With Trey Songz, that was my ringtone back in the day. But I just know that we've come so far, and then at the same time, we'll turn around and we'll set ourselves back. And that's what this feels like to me. And it's when Papoose, I didn't even know who Pooh Shiesty was. Papoose, when he's rhyming, his song, the song he had, that little, he had that verse. I don't even know if it was a whole song. It was Papoose's verse was fire, but it was what happened to the rest of the song? I have no idea. But that song, when he's in a Pooh Shiesty mask, and I'm like, dang, is that really a person? Because I ain't even know. I didn't know him. I ain't, listen, I don't mind telling y'all, I'm an old school hip hop person. I did not know Pooh Shiesty, but I hate it now. I hate it. I hate it because now that I know who he is, now that I know, oh, okay, he must be good at what, you know what I mean? He might be good. Like now he's probably going to be silenced. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like y'all out here, like, we sensationalize the wrong things. And then it's like somebody else's talent. We're not going to have access to that talent anymore. And people don't get that part. You know what I'm saying? Like all the people that we've lost in hip hop, over the years or whatever, it's like when that person is silenced, we lose their talent. We lose what they were going to bring to the game on God. And it's like, y'all act like sometimes it's like cartoon characters, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, okay, we're going to go and we're going to do this, whatever. And then they'll just wake up and, we'll just be back to normal. And it's like, no. You know what I'm saying? If these people are taken out, they're really taken out, and we don't get a do-over. You know what I mean? And it's like, I don't know, it feels like not enough people are valuing your life and or whatever, because it's like the way people look at it is like their life has no value. You know what I mean? And when you see like the old school people who came up in the streets and came up in the projects or whatever, and they get to their 40s and their 50s or whatever, they not trying to go back to the street. They ain't trying, listen, they trying to live long enough to get their social security check. Okay? You can't get your social security check. If you living by the code of the street all the time. You know what I mean? And it's just like getting people to understand that is real crazy. I understand that, but it's like if y'all don't ever get it, y'all gonna keep getting cut down in your 20s and your early 30s. Like whatever contribution you were supposed to make to the world, you're never going to make it. You know what I'm saying? I remember when the Biggie album came out, Hypnotized came out, and I remember, I want to say it was Russell Simmons who listened to the track, and somebody interviewed Russell Simmons, and Russell said something like, man, I sat down, I listened to Hypnotized, and I called Biggie, and I said to him, like, damn, how did you think of this? You know what I'm saying? And he was like, and I feel confident that it was Russell Simmons. And Russell Simmons was sort of like blown away by not only his delivery, but the words he chose, the ways that he put, his rhymes together, right? And so when you think about, people that we lose, like their artistry is gone, right? So we don't get as much as knockoffs as somebody might feel like they sound like so-and-so or whatever. We are not getting that same energy, that same vibe. Like we're not getting, they're lost to us. Tupac lost to us. Pop Smoke lost to us, right? So it's like, people don't, you know what I'm saying? Like it angers me and it disturbs me when I see like this sort of, sensationalizing of a violent situation. And when, like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, you sound crazy. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it's art. I don't know who it was. I don't know if it was Jadakiss. It was somebody who was saying like, artists or rappers are nothing more than poets. You know what I'm saying? And it's true. It's 100% true, right? And so you're like, you're putting a piece to another poet over what? You know what I'm saying? And won't nobody tell y'all this because I don't know why. I mean, maybe they feel like they need the street cred or whatever, but I don't need shit from y'all. So I'm going to say whatever I want to say. And that is, y'all's lives are worth way more than you give yourself credit for. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we're wasting time. We're wasting, like, the shit we doing, running around trying to be you know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Strong arming people, it's crazy. So I just wanted to get on tonight and share that with you guys. I love hip hop. Hip hop changed my life in so many ways. And so, I will always be protective of it, and I will always speak of it and speak up about it no matter what. Like, even though I don't listen to all the hip hop, that everybody else probably listens to right now. Um, but like, I'm never gonna, like, I'm always gonna vouch for hip hop. I don't care how old I am. I don't care what's going on. I'm always going to, because if it wasn't for hip hop, I would never have become an entrepreneur. If it wasn't for hip hop, I wouldn't have lived in so many ways the life of my dreams if it wasn't for hip hop. So I'm always going to stand up and speak on hip hop, just because somebody needs to speak up for it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, we have an art form that the whole world tries to steal. The whole world tries to steal. If they not trying to sell you their Gucci bags off of hip hop or whatever, K-pop or whatever, we have created an art form that the whole world looks to for tips on what to do. And they can deny it. They can deny it. But the fact is they do. And so when these young boys out here start disrespecting hip hop and start doing stuff, Gucci Mane is a legend in the game. Okay? Right? That doesn't mean he's above the law, but that shit that was done wasn't lawful anyway. So let's keep that 100. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, we have an art form and we need to protect it. Right? And so if you so call yourself love hip hop, you should know, like, this wasn't cool at all. You know what I mean? And you can like Pooh Shiesty and still not like what happened. Because as this song has said, he still signed to him. So what did we do? What did we learn but show that we're a spectacle? You know what I mean? Like, I was up here doing research, you guys, on this story today. And the BBC, the British Broadcast Corporation, over there in London, they're writing about Pooh Shiesty allegedly robbing Gucci Mane. Yeah, I'm saying that's how big hip hop is. And I don't think sometimes, I know Pooh Shiesty from Memphis. Like, he got people all over the world talking about him. You feel me? And I'm saying, if they can be talking about him negatively, they could have been buying an album, buying a track that he wrote. You feel me? You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, y'all, I'm going to be your auntie, I'm going to be whoever, explaining to y'all, we impact too many people throughout the world to let this type of shit slide. Straight up. We impact, you got people over in Africa, Korea, Russia. You got people all over listening to hip hop. Okay? They know who Gucci Mane is. You know what I mean? And we disregard our power. We dismiss our power like it's nothing. And so I'm like, no, it is something. You know what I'm saying? And Raylo, whatever his name is, no disrespect, Raylo or Rollo, I just don't know how to say your name properly. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you're apologizing to Pooh Shiesty. Dude, you need to be apologizing to Gucci Mane because he went through this. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of y'all don't understand that when you decide to open a company like Master P, what he did for No Limit, Cash Money, Brian and Baby, the stuff that they did to open doors to let other people eat. You know what I'm saying? Dre, Suge Knight, that opened the door for other people to eat. Gucci Mane didn't have to do that. People already knew who he was. You know what I'm saying? And then y'all want to shit on him. You know what I mean? Over some snitching. You know what I mean? Like, y'all are corny for that. Because again, you got 1,001 rappers who want a deal. You got 1,001 rappers who want a deal. And somebody opens the door for y'all and then y'all gonna crap on them? And in none of the reports that I saw, and if y'all have them, message me or something. I'm gonna see if I can see a comment or whatever. But like, I haven't seen one report, y'all, that said Gucci did something in the contract, right? Like you have all these different contracts, especially women will be like, oh man, they was trying to sexually this or that. Like you have all of these different allegations of impropriety or whatever. I haven't heard one thing on Gucci Mane. Not one thing. You feel what I'm saying? So he deserves to have something put in his face, some hardware put in his face, and he hasn't even done anything. That's what y'all think is cool right now? That's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. So I don't sexually know. I'm going to yes, all right. So I'm just looking to see if I had. Thank you for giving me my thumbs up there. I was just trying to see if I had any questions or anything in my live stream before I go. Oh, here's my thing. No, I don't. So I hope everybody is doing well. Like I said, you guys, we need to be critical thinkers when it comes to hip hop, when it comes to the culture, when it comes to our lives, right? We have the whole world watching, stealing from hip hop, borrowing from it, like the whole world. And a lot of us don't realize how powerful that is. But when you start traveling outside of the United States and you mention somebody from America, they may not know a whole lot of people, but you know who they gonna know? The hip hop people. You go outside of the United States and you mention somebody like LL Cool J, Busta Rhymes. You know what I mean? Because hip hop speaks the language worldwide and we have to honor it here. It's like, y'all probably ever heard of the quote, a hero is not known in his own country, right? And that basically means that people are treated worse in their own country and they'll go over to another country and they will be heroes, right? And that's how hip hop is. But we need to honor the people in America who are building hip hop and continue to build and continue to contribute to the art form. They deserve more than this. They deserve more than that. And it's like, this is unacceptable. And it's like we're showing an allegiance to the streets, and the people in the streets are trying to get out of the streets. So again, what are we doing? The people in the street ain't trying to be in the street. You think if the people in the streets could be in a position to have artists signed to them, and if they had the hotness or the wherewithal to be legit, you think they would still be in the street? No. That's what I'm trying to say. So many people in the street, they trying to go legit. They wish they had a hustle that could go legit. So y'all wanna big them up when they don't even want to be who they are. Make it make sense. And for what? Street credit? What street credit am I getting? You know what I'm saying? But anyway, you guys, thank you so much for coming on today. For the people who watched and gave me a thumbs up, I appreciate it. I'm gonna make sure my sound is okay. I have a new microphone and I'm just trying to get that right. So everybody, my name is Yasmin Shiraz. Please like and follow. And my video right here, it is the I'm just going to show you right quick. Yes, By His Own Artist. That's the name of it. By His Own Artist. That is my take on the alleged Gucci Mane robbery. I don't get into all the things that I talked to today where I really think it's wrong that we are not, treating this the way that we should. It's like any of our legends out here that people are disrespecting. We need to be speaking up on that. You know what I mean? And, I already said, I like Gucci. I like Keisha. That's his wife. The stuff that he's gone through and he keeps on going. I appreciate all of that. Like nobody's life ain't no crystal stair out here. You know what I mean? And Gucci manages to keep on going and doing what he got to do. And I just got to send love and respect out to him. And as far as Pooh Shiesty's concerned, I feel for Pooh Shiesty, you know what I'm saying? Because, what I mean? There are so many legal ways to get out of a recording contract. And I would even venture to say, if you start calling enough entertainment lawyers, they would have helped you. They would have helped you because after Papoose dropped your name in that record, everybody knew who you were. Everybody knew who you are because of that mask. So to me, you know what I'm saying? I hope this gets resolved in a positive way. You know what I'm saying? I hope y'all, put some respect on Gucci Mane's name the way you should. And I think, like again, if you want to get out of a contract, there's a legal way to do it. You shouldn't be looking at 25 years because you wanted to get out of a contract. Somebody could have helped you, man, in a legal way. Like I'm not even thinking hard, and I'm thinking of people who could have helped you. Londell McMillan is on my top of my head. He helped Prince and his contract, if I'm not tripping, if my memory serves me correctly. But he would have probably listened to you and helped you. You know what I mean? So it's like the street responding to everything in a street manner is not the way to do it. All right, y'all. That's Wanna Grow On. Peace. See you next time.